Hello, science fans! Today we're going to talk about something incredibly tiny but hugely important, the Y chromosome. Think of your body as a massive, complicated library. Inside every single one of your cells, there are instruction books called chromosomes. Most people have 46 of these books organized into 23 pairs. These instruction books contain all the information needed to build and run you. For most biological females, the 23rd pair consists of 2 X chromosomes. But for most biological males, that pair is made up of 1 X and 1 much smaller Y chromosome. This little Y chromosome is what we're focusing on today. It might be small, but it packs a powerful punch, especially when it comes to determining male characteristics. So, what does this Y chromosome actually do? Its most famous job is to kickstart the development of male traits in an embryo. It contains a very special gene called the SRY gene, which stands for sex-determining region Y. You can think of the SRY gene as the master switch. When an embryo has a Y chromosome, this gene flips on, sending a signal that says, "Let's build a male." This one signal triggers a whole cascade of other genetic events, leading to the development of testes, which then produce male hormones like testosterone. Without that initial SRY signal, the embryo would typically develop as a female. It's a fantastic example of how one tiny piece of genetic code can set in motion a lifetime of biological development. Beyond just sex determination, the Y chromosome carries other genes that are important for men's health throughout their lives. While it doesn't have nearly as many genes as the X chromosome, the Y has about 55 genes compared to the X's 900. The ones it does have are quite specialized. Some of these genes are involved in sperm production, making them essential for fertility. Others, as scientists are now discovering, play crucial roles in regulating the immune system and even preventing certain types of tumors from growing. So, while it's often seen as just the male chromosome, its influence extends into many different areas of health and well-being, making it a subject of great scientific interest. In essence, the Y chromosome is the fundamental genetic factor that distinguishes biological males from females at the chromosomal level. It's the starting gun in the race of male development, the director of a complex biological play. From determining sex in the womb to influencing sperm production and immune function in adulthood, this small but mighty chromosome is a cornerstone of male biology. Understanding its role is the first step in appreciating why its changes over time, and even within a single person's lifetime, are so incredibly important for the health of half the human population. It's a piece of our genetic puzzle that we are only just beginning to fully understand. Now here's where the story gets really interesting. The Y chromosome wasn't always so small and specialized. Scientists believe that hundreds of millions of years ago, the X and Y chromosomes were actually a matched pair, identical in size and carrying the same set of genes. They were just like any other pair of chromosomes. But then, about 166 million years ago, something happened. The chromosome that would eventually become our Y started to change. It acquired that powerful SRY gene, the master switch for maleness. Once that happened, it began to follow a different evolutionary path than its partner, the X chromosome. It was a journey that would lead to it shrinking dramatically over the eons. The reason for this shrinking process is rooted in genetics. Unlike all other chromosome pairs, the X and Y chromosomes in males don't fully swap genetic material with each other during the process of making sperm. This swapping, called recombination, is like a quality control mechanism for genes. It helps to fix mutations and get rid of faulty DNA. Because the Y chromosome couldn't do this with the X chromosome for most of its length, it started to accumulate mutations and decay over time. Genes that were damaged were often lost forever instead of being repaired. It was a one-way street of genetic loss, a slow and steady decline happening over millions and millions of years. Just how fast is it shrinking? Based on the rate of gene loss we can observe from our evolutionary past, scientists estimate the Y chromosome has been losing about 5 genes every million years. When you consider it started with over 900 genes and is now down to about 55, that's a pretty significant drop. This has led some scientists to make a bold prediction. If this rate of decay continues, the human Y chromosome could disappear entirely in about 11 million years. Now don't panic, 11 million years is an incredibly long time. To put it in perspective, modern humans have only been around for about 300,000 years. So, it's not something you or your great-great-great-grandchildren need to worry about. Still, the idea of a disappearing chromosome is a fascinating concept that tells us a lot about how evolution works. It's a process of constant change, adaptation, and sometimes loss. The journey of the Y chromosome from a robust, standard chromosome to the small, specialized genetic remnant it is today is a powerful story written in our DNA. It highlights the dynamic nature of our genome and raises an intriguing question. If the Y chromosome is on its way out, what does that mean for the future of humanity? Are men destined to disappear? As we'll see, nature is often more resourceful and clever than we give it credit for. So, if the Y chromosome is slowly disappearing, does that spell the end for males? Well, to answer that, we can look to the animal kingdom, where nature has already run this experiment. It turns out that losing the Y chromosome is not necessarily a biological dead end. Several species have already lost their Y chromosome completely and are doing just fine, thank you very much. They have evolved new and ingenious ways to determine sex and continue producing both males and females. This shows us that evolution is a fantastic problem solver. When one biological pathway closes, it can often find a clever workaround to achieve the same result. A prime example of this is a fascinating creature called the Japanese spiny rat. These rodents live on a few islands in Japan and, remarkably, they have no Y chromosome at all. Both males and females have the same set of sex chromosomes, just a pair of X's. For a long time, scientists were puzzled about how males were produced without the SRY gene that is normally found on the Y. It was a real biological mystery. How could a male spiny rat exist without the very gene that is supposed to make him male? The answer, discovered just recently, is a testament to the creativity of evolution. What researchers found in 2022 was truly amazing. They discovered that a small piece of DNA, on a completely different chromosome, not a sex chromosome at all, had been duplicated in the spiny rat's genome. This duplicated segment is located very close to a gene called SOX9, which is one of the key genes that the SRY gene normally activates. In the spiny rat, this new piece of DNA took over the job of the SRY gene, acting as the new master switch to turn on SOX9 and trigger male development. It's a beautiful example of evolution finding an alternative route. It didn't need the old road, the Y chromosome, because it built a brand new highway to the same destination, maleness. The Japanese spiny rat, along with certain species of mole voles that have also lost their Y chromosome, provides a powerful proof of concept. It shows that life can and does go on without this specific piece of genetic hardware. If the human Y chromosome were to disappear millions of years from now, it's plausible that a similar evolutionary fix could occur. A new gene or a regulatory piece of DNA on another chromosome could take over the role of sex determination. This could even potentially lead to the emergence of a new human species down the line. It's a reminder that biology is not static, it is a dynamic, ever-changing system. While the complete disappearance of the Y chromosome is a problem for the distant future, there's a related issue that is affecting men right here, right now. As men get older, some of their cells can lose their Y chromosome. This doesn't happen in all cells at once. Instead, it occurs randomly in certain cell lines, creating a mixture or a mosaic of cells in the body. Some cells will have the normal XY configuration, while others will just have a single X. This phenomenon is called mosaic loss of Y, or LOY for short. It's a natural part of the aging process for many men, almost like getting gray hair or wrinkles, but on a cellular level. This process typically starts to become noticeable after the age of 50 and becomes much more common as men get older. The cells that are most often affected are fast-dividing cells, like the stem cells in our bone marrow that are responsible for producing all of our blood and immune cells. When a stem cell makes a mistake during cell division and loses its Y chromosome, all the cells it produces from that point on will also be missing it. By the time men reach their 80s, it's estimated that over 40% of them show a significant loss of the Y chromosome in their blood cells. It's a widespread and surprisingly common feature of male aging. For a long time, scientists thought that LOY might just be a harmless side effect of getting older, a simple marker of age without any real health impact. They viewed it as a consequence, not a cause, of other age-related problems. However, recent and groundbreaking research has completely overturned this idea. Studies have now shown that the loss of the Y chromosome is not just a passive bystander. It is an active participant in disease, directly causing or contributing to some of the most serious health issues that affect older men. This discovery has transformed our understanding of men's health in later life. Think of it like this: your body is a team, and every cell is a player with a specific job. The Y chromosome contains the instructions for some of those jobs. When a cell loses its Y chromosome, it's like a player forgetting a crucial part of the game plan. If enough cells in a critical system, like your immune system or your heart, forget their instructions, the whole team's performance suffers. This can lead to weaknesses and vulnerabilities that make the body more susceptible to disease. Realizing that LOY is a direct cause of illness has opened up a whole new field of medical research aimed at understanding and combating its effects. The discovery that mosaic loss of Y, or LOY, is a direct cause of illness has been a major breakthrough in medical science. A landmark study from Sweden provided some of the most compelling early evidence. Researchers followed over 1,000 men in their 70s and 80s for many years. They found that the men who had a significant loss of the Y chromosome in their blood cells had a much higher risk of dying from any cause. On average, these men lived 5.5 years less than men who retained their Y chromosomes. This wasn't just a small difference. It was a clear and dramatic link between LOY and a shorter, less healthy lifespan. The health risks associated with LOY are not limited to just one specific ailment. Instead, it appears to increase the danger across a wide range of serious conditions. The same Swedish study found that men with LOY had a higher incidence of dying from various types of solid tumors, such as lung or colon cancer. It seems that the Y chromosome contains genes that help our immune system spot and destroy cancerous cells. When those genes are lost, the body's cancer surveillance system becomes weaker, allowing tumors to grow more easily. In fact, some studies on bladder cancer have shown that tumors missing the Y chromosome are often more aggressive and dangerous. Beyond cancer, LOY has been strongly linked to heart disease. To prove this was a cause and effect relationship, scientists conducted clever experiments using mice. They used gene editing technology to create bone marrow stem cells that were missing the Y chromosome and transplanted them into male mice. The mice that received these Y-deficient cells developed fibrosis, which is a harmful scarring of the heart muscle. This scarring made their hearts weaker, leading to heart failure and a shorter lifespan. This experiment provided powerful proof that the loss of the Y chromosome in blood cells can directly damage the heart, likely by altering the immune response and promoting inflammation and scarring. Perhaps one of the most frightening connections is the link between LOY and brain health. The data suggests that men with significant loss of the Y chromosome in their blood cells have a substantially higher risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Some studies suggest the risk could be as much as 7 times higher. The exact mechanism is still being investigated, but it's thought that immune cells from the blood that are missing the Y chromosome can travel to the brain. Once there, they may contribute to the inflammation and damage that are hallmarks of Alzheimer's. Together, these findings paint a clear picture. Losing the Y chromosome from our cells as we age is a serious health risk that can impact the whole body. If mosaic loss of Y, or LOY, is a natural part of aging for some men, is there anything that can make it happen faster? The answer is a definitive yes. Our lifestyle choices and environmental exposures can act as accelerators, speeding up the rate at which cells lose their Y chromosome. The single biggest and most well-documented culprit is cigarette smoking. Numerous studies have shown that men who smoke have a much higher rate of LOY in their blood cells compared to non-smokers. The toxic chemicals in tobacco smoke are mutagens, meaning they damage our DNA and can cause errors during cell division, the very process where the Y chromosome can get lost. Smoking is essentially a direct assault on the stability of your genome. Every puff of a cigarette introduces a cocktail of harmful chemicals into your bloodstream. These chemicals can damage the delicate machinery inside your cells that is responsible for copying and separating chromosomes when cells divide. The Y chromosome, being small and having fewer repair mechanisms, seems to be particularly vulnerable to this kind of damage. The good news is that this effect appears to be reversible. Studies have found that men who quit smoking can see the rate of Y chromosome loss in their blood cells slow down, and over time, return to levels similar to those of men who never smoked. It's not just what we willingly put into our bodies, it's also what we are exposed to in our environment. Air pollution, for example, contains fine particulate matter and chemicals that we breathe in every day, and these can also act as mutagens. Living in areas with high levels of pollution has been linked to increased rates of DNA damage and potentially a higher risk of LOY. Similarly, exposure to certain industrial chemicals and pesticides has come under scrutiny. Substances like glyphosate, A widely used herbicide and heavy metals like arsenic have been shown to be genotoxic, meaning they are harmful to our genetic material and could contribute to chromosomal instability. This connection between lifestyle, environment, and cellular health is incredibly empowering. It means that the rate of Y chromosome loss is not entirely predetermined or out of our control. While aging is a factor we cannot stop, we can influence the speed at which this particular type of cellular damage occurs. By understanding the risk factors, like smoking, pollution, and chemical exposure, we can take active steps to mitigate them. Avoiding these harmful exposures is like putting a protective shield around our cells, helping to preserve our genetic integrity for as long as possible, and giving ourselves a better chance at a long and healthy life. Given that certain behaviors can speed up the loss of the Y chromosome, it stands to reason that healthy habits can help to slow it down. Protecting your genetic information is one of the best investments you can make in your long-term health. The number one piece of advice, based on the strongest evidence, is to not smoke. If you're a smoker, quitting is the single most effective action you can take to reduce your rate of LOY and lower your risk for the associated diseases like cancer and heart failure. It's never too late to quit, as your body has a remarkable ability to heal and restore normal cellular processes once the constant assault from tobacco toxins stops. Beyond avoiding tobacco, a healthy diet plays a crucial role in maintaining cellular integrity. A diet rich in antioxidants can help protect your DNA from damage. Antioxidants are molecules found in fruits, vegetables, nuts, and whole grains that neutralize harmful free radicals in your body. Think of free radicals as tiny destructive sparks that can damage your cell's machinery, including your DNA. Eating a colorful variety of plant-based foods, often referred to as a Mediterranean-style diet, provides your body with the tools it needs to quench these sparks. This type of diet is also naturally anti-inflammatory, which can help reduce the chronic inflammation that is linked to many age-related diseases. Regular physical activity is another pillar of chromosomal health. Exercise has a whole host of benefits that are good for your DNA. It improves circulation, which helps deliver oxygen and nutrients to your cells more efficiently. It helps maintain a healthy weight, reducing the chronic inflammation associated with obesity. Exercise also helps to manage stress, and high levels of chronic stress can release hormones like cortisol that may negatively impact cellular health over time. You don't have to become a marathon runner. Consistent, moderate activity like brisk walking, cycling, or swimming can make a huge difference in your overall well-being and cellular resilience. Finally, don't underestimate the power of good sleep. Sleep is when your body does most of its repair work. During deep sleep, your cells are busy fixing DNA damage, clearing out waste products, and regenerating tissues. When you consistently skimp on sleep, you rob your body of this critical maintenance time. This can lead to an accumulation of cellular damage and errors, potentially increasing the risk of chromosomal loss. Aiming for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night is not a luxury. It's a fundamental biological necessity for maintaining a healthy genome and a healthy body for years to come. The incredible research into mosaic loss of Y, or LOI, is not just about understanding a problem, it's about finding solutions. As our knowledge grows, we are moving toward a future where we can diagnose, monitor, and even treat the health risks associated with Y chromosome loss. One of the most exciting developments is the potential for new diagnostic tools. In the past, detecting LOI was a complex and expensive process limited to research labs. However, as the cost of genetic sequencing technology continues to fall, this is rapidly changing. It's becoming feasible to imagine a future where a simple blood test could be part of a man's regular health checkup. Imagine going to your doctor for an annual physical. Along with checking your cholesterol and blood pressure, your blood sample could be analyzed to determine your Y loss score. This score would tell you the percentage of your blood cells that are missing the Y chromosome. A low score would be reassuring, while a high score would serve as an early warning sign. It would alert you and your doctor that you are at a higher risk for developing conditions like heart disease, fibrosis, or certain cancers. This knowledge would allow for more personalized and proactive healthcare, enabling earlier screening and more aggressive management of risk factors before a serious disease can take hold. Once a high-risk individual is identified, what can be done? This is where the development of new treatments comes in. Since we now know that LOI can directly cause fibrosis or scarring in the heart, researchers are testing drugs that can block this process. Anti-fibrotic drugs, which are already approved to treat scarring in the lungs, pulmonary fibrosis, are showing promise. In the mouse experiments, treating the mice that had LOI with one of these drugs prevented the harmful heart scarring and improved their survival. Clinical trials in humans will be the next logical step to see if these drugs can protect men with LOI from developing heart failure. This research also has fascinating implications for cancer therapy. As mentioned, bladder cancers that have lost the Y chromosome tend to be more aggressive. However, there's a silver lining. These same tumors appear to respond better to a modern type of cancer treatment called checkpoint inhibitor immunotherapy. This therapy works by unleashing the body's own immune system to attack cancer cells. It seems that the loss of the Y chromosome creates a vulnerability in the tumor that this specific therapy can exploit. In the future, testing a tumor for Y chromosome loss could help doctors choose the most effective treatment for that individual patient, paving the way for more precise and successful cancer care. The idea that a part of your genetic code can shrink over millennia and even disappear from your cells as you age might sound alarming at first, but the real story here is not one of doom and gloom. It is a story of scientific discovery, understanding, and empowerment. For centuries we knew that men on average did not live as long as women, but we didn't fully understand all the biological reasons why. The discovery of mosaic loss of Y and its direct link to disease provides a major piece of that puzzle. This knowledge doesn't weaken us, it gives us power. It gives us a specific, tangible biological process that we can now study, monitor, and learn to influence. The fact that lifestyle choices like smoking can accelerate Y chromosome loss is not bad news, it's good news. It means that your health is not just something that happens to you, it is something you can actively participate in. You have the ability to make choices every single day that can protect your cells and promote your long-term well-being. Quitting smoking, eating a nutritious diet, getting regular exercise, and prioritizing sleep are not just vague pieces of advice. We now understand that these actions have a direct and positive effect on your body, right down to the level of your chromosomes. You are the chief caretaker of your own genome. Furthermore, the future of medicine is bright. The pace of genetic research is astounding. We are entering an era of personalized medicine where treatments will be tailored to an individual's unique genetic makeup and risk factors. The development of a Y loss score and targeted therapies for fibrosis and cancer are just the beginning. As we learn more about the specific genes on the Y chromosome that are so protective, we may be able to develop therapies that can replace their function or mimic their effects, even after the chromosome is lost from a cell. Science is providing us with a roadmap to a healthier future for men, so let this knowledge be a source of encouragement. Don't worry about the Y chromosome disappearing in 11 million years. Evolution is very clever and will likely figure that out. Instead, focus on what you can do today. Be curious about your health, ask questions, adopt habits that nourish and protect your body at the cellular level. By understanding the science behind how your body works and how it ages, you are empowered to take control of your health journey. The story of the Y chromosome is ultimately a hopeful one, reminding us that with knowledge comes the power to live longer, healthier, and more vibrant lives.